Heads.
Or tails.
Come on, let me through. Heads.
Or tails.
Tails. Told you. I never find that as satisfying as I'd imagined.
Chin up. There's always next time.
I suppose there is.
Did Booker have a choice there? Could he have guessed heads instead of tails? His previous iterations didn't, neither did the coin land on its other side, and that means two things really. First, the world Booker inhabits is governed by predetermined laws that command the very fabric of nature. If things have happened identically up to a certain point, then the events that will unfold will also be identical unless a variable is introduced into the equation. And the second one, at this point of time, we have no control over the actions of Booker, despite the fact that we've been playing for almost half an hour. This is not coincidental. The game is conditioning us for the inevitable realization that unfolds as we're delving deeper.
Free will is an illusion.
Surely not. As players, we control the character, and there are countless ways to reach the end. In online or sandbox games, we can interact with other humans and create our own objectives and storylines within the constraints of the specific realm, much like our own universe. The laws of physics are what ultimately govern everything from the hydrogen atom to the galaxies. If you think about it, our brains are a collection of nerve cells, which in return are complex systems of molecules. They are, of course, created by atomic and subatomic activity. If we assume that choice is nothing more than the product of the brain, then it is in fact the essence of infinite number of causes that led to this exact point of space and time. We can make choices in games, and we can navigate and shoot differently every single time, but no matter what we pick, the bird or the cage, the ending will always remain the same. Some games play with the notion that free will is an illusion by allowing us to carefully tread through an intricate series of events that do indeed lead to different outcomes, but one can argue they are simply parallel dimensions to one another. Nothing in that world up to this point has changed, but we most certainly have. Our previous actions gave us an outcome, so now we want to discover another. What will happen if this time around Stanley chooses not to follow the voice and decides to go through the door on the right? It most certainly feels like we made a choice and coined our destiny.
A man chooses, a slave obeys. Kill! A man chooses! A slave obeys! Obey!
There are neuroscientific studies that try to dispel the notion of free will by showing us that brain activity actually starts before we're able to determine we chose. In 2008, researchers discovered that up to 10 seconds before a subject decides to press a button, that information is already encoded in their brain and could be predicted with accuracy of about 88%. This sounds depressing. The idea that we may in fact be no more than an observer of our own fates, and that the only measurement of our success or failure is in fact the hand which was dealt to us by the universe. Love wouldn't matter in the same sense, because it would be destined to happen, just like everything else. That also means that the existence of good and evil, of moral values and man-made lies would cease. There wouldn't be a point to torture ourselves with hatred towards others. And this part may sound liberating. From the day we're born, we're given a chance to experience this magnificent thing called life and be a part of something larger than any of us. We may or may not have free will. Whatever the answer is, there is always a way to set ourselves free.
Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.